I talked about my professional life the first time. I encourage everybody to share their story. I'm sharing my personal today. So I had an imaginary friend when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure most of you did as well. And you might be familiar with mine. His name was Jesus. Journey. When I was 19, I was an angel altar boy to a militant atheist. Okay, so 12-year-old me, this is me at church with my family, my confirmation when I was 16, then godfather to my brother when he got confirmed, and then godfather to daughter of a niece, daughter of a cousin, Penelope, when I was 19. And so first stage, when did this transformation begin? Age 16 is recruitment time. I went to an Opus Dei school. You can be recruited into the Opus Dei since you are 14 and a half years. And so when you're a teenager, they invite you to a lot of events, sports, movies, so that you are drawn to the organization. And then when you're in, they invite you to these recruitment plans, and that's where I had the first red flag, which was vocation. The word vocation, I had never heard of it. It basically means that God has a plan for you. And they would speak about vocation in breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then they would ask, are you thinking about vocation? That might be a sign. Second red flag was when I was in college, I understood that my faith was, as I was taught it in an Opus Dei school, was very much homophobic. And that's not, I started to meet other people, and I turned into an ally. Third sign that I wanted to change was confession. I got this messed up, you're gonna see the next one, but keep this in mind. Purpose of amendment is one of the, I was taught, keys to confession, which means you wanna change the behavior that you've been doing. And the sixth commandment, remember, thou shalt not commit impure acts. So I was a teenager, you can imagine what happens when I have my first girlfriend. So I was struggling with going to confession, it didn't make sense, I didn't want to change this behavior. All this continued, and then in college I took Evolutionary Psychology 101, where we talked about some of the needs. And I realized these needs are covered by religion. Some human needs like hope, like allowing us to grieve better, like group cohesion. So that's why religion is such a powerful force. And the last straw was around 4 or 5 years ago when I realized that there was so many myths. If you're a Catholic from Latin America, you probably heard that when you go into a new church, you get 3 wishes granted. Or the fact that prayer, can you change God's will? Is he set on his will? So I thought of all that, and then 4 years ago I took a leap of faith, let's call it, and I became an atheist, and I started hanging out with lots of atheist people. And the book for me, when you see the skies full of stars, you realize the sun is just another star. Anyway, so on to part 2, which if you're a Facebook friend, you already know is why I want you to embark in this journey. So the way I see it, it's just like flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, and people who don't know that Santa isn't real. Santa is not real. What have we been taught? We taught don't discuss politics or religion, and I think we should really take, it's a crazy approach to me. I think we should talk about it even more, contrast, hear what other people have to say, their experience, and only then we can grow as a community. So, one of the questions I get asked, I didn't go to divinity school, but I get asked, how do you know for sure? And I say, I don't even know unicorns don't exist, but I have yet to see one, so I'm pretty sure they don't, or dragons. Same approach to Davy for me. But it's uncomfortable. So this is a quote from the president of the University of Chicago, and it says, education should not be intended to make people comfortable, it's meant to make them think. And And another one I like by Carl Sagan, if it can be destroyed by the truth, it deserves to be destroyed by the truth. Another objection when I bring this subject up is that religion helps people in the most vulnerable states. And that's true. But my opinion is that we should incorporate reality or science or whatever you want to call it in how we deal with grief and, for instance, drug abuse. Another one is it does teach us valuable lessons, and that's also true. Just like many other fictional stories, like Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings, so you don't need to believe that they're real in order to take in the lessons. Fiction can also tell us really good stories. And a couple more quotes before I finish. I like this one by George Carlin. There's plenty of comedians much better than me on this subject. Is tell people that there's an invisible man in the sky, they believe you, but if you have wet paint, they have to touch it to believe it. So this is just to encourage you to question everything. This one is one I like. It ends up with time to grow up, which means it's just the evolution of religion through the centuries, and I really believe that in the 21st century, in Harris, in people as knowledgeable as us, we are ready to stop believing in myths and legends. And what are my plans? Next year, I hope that people that agree with me or want to discuss more religion, we can make it an HSO or just start hosting more events so this stops being a taboo, such a taboo subject, and we start thinking, how does religion impact public policy and our lives? Thank you very much.
Next one. So I know this question is usually met with like comedy, but sincerely, like what proof would you need to believe that God does exist?
No, I don't take it as comedy. Just any proof. Hey, he strike me down right now. That's comedy. But no, the serious answer is any that can. I missed one quote that says by DeGrasse Tyson. I forget his name. Is God is an ever-decreasing bubble of misunderstanding. Yeah, here we go. God is an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance that's getting smaller and smaller as time moves on. So yeah, if we have any proof, yeah, just like aliens, when they arrive, we'll see it. Yes?
Thanks for the presentation. Truly, any initiative to talk about religion and politics, I'm sympathetic towards, so thanks for doing that. I wish you the best for next year. My question is with part one, when you were talking about when you became an atheist, or you converted to atheism. When you convert to a religion, usually it's very public. You're baptized, you're confirmed, it's in front of a bunch of people. How did the conversion feel real to you, and how did it feel real to your friends and your family? How did they know that this conversion took place?
Good question. 4 years ago, I've been talking about it 4 years constantly to anybody who would listen or even people who won't listen. I changed my profile picture in Facebook to there is no God, or God isn't real. God is not real. I started talking about it with my family, who are conservatives. They now know me as the atheist cousin or everything. And I started just being open about it. I think there are a lot of closeted atheists out there, and I am no longer a closeted atheist. Yes?
Do you feel your experience would be different if you wouldn't have been in touch with such a conservative part of the Catholic that is the opposite?
Yes, definitely. I think I was brought up to believe that God and pleasing Him was one of the main things in life, and that's why I always kept it in my mind, and I was always thinking, how should I please Him? And that's why I always had it on my mind. Maybe if I was raised, less conservative, I would have never had it on my mind. But most of the people, at least in Latin America, that I've gotten to know, were raised in similar conditions to me. And then at some point, they stopped thinking about it, and I just kept going. So part of it was how I was raised, and part of it was my personality. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, Chris, Ellie had a question before and we didn't answer. With the Stefania.
Sure. So I filled out the Harris Student Satisfaction Survey today, and one of the comments I wrote is, I don't believe that social impact is down to a science. I really don't. I believe that we're a whole much bigger picture. Thinking about social impact of the science is doing us a service to the ethical and values-based leadership that we can have. So I'd love to hear you talk. I felt like towards the end of your pitch or your discussion, it points towards this elevation of science and evidence-based approaches to understanding the world. So can you talk about other ways besides science and evidence that you'd like to view the world and make meaning?
Well, I think our colleague from Divinity School said it best at the end, that we can never forget that we are humans, and that there's a human component in everything, and that there's empathy. So that is very critical. When you talk about religion a lot, you offend a lot of people, and that's something that personally I don't like to do, which is why you have to always make the distinction when you are attacking ideas and attacking people, and it's hard because people take it personally, as do I. So, but to answer your question, yeah, you can never. Science is very important, but it doesn't solve everything, and you have to have good empathy and good values. Thank you very much.